Welcome back to Boys Love Build Up. This is episode 6 that we are recapping today. And you know what we do?
We continue to love Build Up.
We continue to love Build Up. Is this the fastest turnaround?
This might be I think we've done a fast one before too.
For Build Up?
Not for Build Up, in previous shows.
Well, they need not be mentioned here.
No.
We like to keep things very separate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, we never reference other works, other shows, other things we've watched.
Yeah.
We're not really a referential...
No, we don't make references.
It's not really... I know that's a style of comedy, but it's not for me.
But
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
We're still in a 3v3. We get prayers.
And we...
Opponent.
And we prayed.
And we prayed.
And if you didn't see, we're not going to talk about it again today, but just to quickly recap, just like they recap at the top of the episode.
Yeah.
The performance is great.
Prayer was fucking through the roof, bitch.
Who?
Prayer.
Oh, I thought you said Pryor. And then I thought you meant Angels in America. And I was like, is this a joke? Where's the joke?
No, because we don't do references.
So why would I reference that? Prayer is up against Bain, Minsa, and Bitseon, and they are singing Kiss of Life's Bad News.
Yes. Bain literally was like, well, there's a song by Kiss of Life. Do you know them? They're like iconic legends. So, like, this insistence that Bain
said men don't exist.
Men don't exist in music.
Why do we need them?
Yeah.
And I'm here for that energy. Even though I'm fully like a boy group stan.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for in my men.
Yeah.
Is that they only support women.
Absolutely. They sing Bad News, Kiss of Life. They were put by Jae, Wumuti, and Hyun to go up against Jeup's team.
Yes. I thought it was interesting that they didn't even really, some of the groups in this episode, they discuss like why was the decision made to pick that person? And like Bain's group was second to pick of like 9 people. So I was curious.
I assumed they were probably just going to pick Jae. And then since Jae was picked, they picked the other person that made that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. And he's like he's pop, you know.
Yes. And he fit right into the genre of.
Well, he's also like, I think after seeing River last week, I was like, oh, Bitseon is a similar, like, big performance. Mm-hmm. Like, I like to bring all aspects to it that I, like, in Dangerously, I felt like I figured that out. And since that was already, like, what Bain and Minsa were doing, it was smart to pick him.
They were just like, let's do a song like Dangerously and River, but upgraded.
Yeah. So cool. A narrative.
And
they did. And they did. So do you know this song, Bad News?
I've heard it once before.
Okay.
But it's definitely like a darker, grungier rock version here.
Yeah. It was so good. Once again, Bain continues to be...
We have to address the Bain situation.
Just watch it. Just be very careful. Bain is the bane of my existence, honey.
They had to say, I've been slain by Bain. And if I was Bain...
So I really do think the translator was having fun with that one for sure.
She was like...
Because I'm sure it's like transliterated like Bain killed me.
Yes.
Yeah, but like she was like, no, I know a little rhyme.
No, mama.
William Shakespeare could never.
And he never did.
And he never will.
I don't think Shakespeare ever did anything.
Old bitch. Sorry.
Slain
I'm
by
so
Bain.
Sorry.
To Anne Hathaway and the Shakespeare family.
Yeah.
The estate.
Bain
charged in here.
Speak on it.
First.
I didn't think you were going to say that.
And she...
There is a confidence that Bain has on stage that is only matched by contestants of RuPaul's Drag Race. That's what I'm going to say.
Literally.
I just like, there are...
Literally, that's it.
For someone who is like, okay, I think he is similar to Jae and Soomin in that there is like an understanding of like kind of,
My skills by musicality.
I hate the term Western, but like
Yes.
Western performance, like kind of like bravado.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Like an AMA, like a VMA
yes.
performance.
AMA, American Music Award.
But
Ask me anything on Reddit.
Yes, but I was thinking more like the VMAs where it's like it's a performance. Well,
yeah.
Back in the day.
I just think he like is he clearly loves
Pop.
in a real way.
And I think...
And it doesn't somehow, because like with Jay and Soomin, they grew up in America. So there is that part of like their performance that it feels like, oh, it's understandable why they're like this. But like, that's the fascinating thing is like, he is fully Korean, like has never lived in America or anything.
Yeah.
But he, for some reason...
has fully
just,
like enveloped it.
Yes. And it's so different from everybody else. So that's why it's like standing out so hard. Yeah. If it was like an American season of this and like everyone was doing that,
yes,
there would be more things to nitpick, but it's so fascinating. He's so good at it and he's so tall. So he takes up so much space on stage.
And that's the thing. If you know that if you take up stage, like you take it up, just do it. Yeah. Just own up to it.
And he's so unapologetic in every like,
the fact that he is like bright red hair, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, I want to be the person that everyone looks at when I am on that stage. I'm watching a daughter of Colby, from the house of Colby.
BAIN, 2 vowels, 2 consonants, honey. He doesn't like, and there's no apology. Like, it's not like he's like trying to like withdraw. Because I think like sometimes too, taller performers, especially in a culture in which like, or just like a country where not everybody is that tall, right? There can be a tendency, like when I got really tall, all my friends were girls. So I shot up to 5'10". All my friends were like 5'6". So I started like, I would like hunch over because I didn't want to be perceived as being tall. He is just like so like big and extra and like weirdly is kind of giving a similar thing that another person from his group also gives. But that person gets clocked for it and Bain does not.
And that's the thing.
And I think the songs they're doing are like not the same, but
it's like if geonu was singing like a Dangerously, or a River, or this song, I think he would be like, "Oh, you finally match now the song."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I also love about Bain is that, like you said, he has studied pop because he loves it so much.
It's so clear that it's like love, yeah.
And people. Like, I think that, like, general culture still thinks, like, pop is not serious. Mm-hmm. And, like, for Bain, it's serious.
Yeah.
And it's, like, so... it's so good.
You can, like, I'm envisioning Bain sitting in his room listening to music and, like, freaking out when he hears a new song that he really likes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just so... expressive and into it and like obsessed with it. It's just, and he's like trying to emulate and give that back, that exact kind of performance back. And he doesn't get to do with Just B's stuff that we've seen, obviously, blah,
so
blah,
far.
blah.
Yeah.
This is not the energy that Just B gives. And it's cool that he's able to use this to like explore that more. Yeah. I don't know if I'm sure he's done like covers and stuff like that on their YouTube channel because they have a ton of YouTube content. But like, it's just like so cool to watch him be able to like kind of do, because he's the one who picked River and he's the one who picked Bad News. So it's really cool to like watch him like flourish in this way. And not only that, but like Bitseon and Minsa are so good in this
they're matching.
Yes,
they're matching.
It's not
his
like
energy.
his show with the two of them.
Yes, totally. Yeah,
they're
all complimenting each other. They're all They're all performing in the same energy level, but in their own way.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, Minsa, if he does not get signed at the end of the show, there is something wrong with
There's something wrong.
Because he is so talented. He does the same thing again here where he like skrelts and then throws it away.
Yes.
That I'm like, oh, that is That's money.
It's juice. It's
That's
so good.
money.
The realization that he's not even signed to anybody right now is
No.
crazy to me.
I know. And so we are announcing that
We are
the
happy to
Ampliverse
announce.
will be signing Kim Min-seo as our first trainee.
It's our first trainee.
Not our first talent, because Friedrich is our first signed talent in
Right.
the Ampliverse.
Right. He doesn't put in any work, but his contract is ironclad.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So I just, this. It made me see Bitseon. Obviously, like now, it's just we're seeing him more and more come out of his shell. Not that like he was hiding, but he has more opportunities to like be what he wants to like be as a performer.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this week we're watching Mont's newest single. IDGAF. IDGAF. Have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited because like I was like looking up what it was called. I was like on their Wikipedia page and I saw it's like a 3-member group, which I didn't know. So this is like the joy of watching not just this show, but like all the shows really is like the exploration we get to go into like things that are just outside of like Hybe, SM, JYP,
totally.
YG. Like it's so exciting to find.
Let's be real.
It's just Hybe.
It's mostly Hybe.
It's mostly Hybe. But like it's so exciting to find these small groups and like serious talent that is just like out there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do a thing about art again. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I shan't.
But they're so good.
They're so good.
Please, you need to release a cunt anthem. You need to release.
Are you going to Denver?
It's
on a Tuesday. That's
it's
right.
Too tough.
Also, like, sorry to way veer off topic. The way they rolled out that tour
And
was stupid.
Yeah. We're also announcing that Ampliverse is also now launching
A tour.
or like no.
A tour management
company, just so we can do our boys.
Well, we could. Okay, you want to talk tea? We could be better than that fucking. You can bleep all that. The problem is, it's like, who is better?
Who would you pick?
My God.
Okay, so let's just say the show, it's 3-4 in favor of Prayer. So Prayer is the one that makes it. Bain, Minso, and Bitseon get eliminated.
Yeah.
Adam, who would you have picked? Prayer or Bad News?
I would have picked Prayer.
I would have picked Prayer too.
And truly, it wouldn't even be like this is the better performance.
No.
It's just to save jeup.
I know.
And it's truly, for you, it's a visual thing. For me, it's not a visual thing. I really appreciate art.
But this is Jeup's fitness Instagram, by the way. So,
but which I do not follow. You can check. Mostly because I'm never on Instagram. But I just think like he has. It's so frustrating.
It's so frustrating. But I do not envy these judges at all.
We're really getting down to like when I'm thinking about who I want in this group, I'm getting into like what I was getting into with Boys Planet, where I was like, you're already debuted. It's different with this show because so many people have already debuted, right? Or they're professional in some capacity. So it's not a 1-to-1, but there is like a level of like, jeup is not in the same, like Bain has a, you know what I mean? Like Bain, Bitseon, I guess Minso is the only one.
Would be the only one.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, it's so hard. Yeah. There's just like so many things I think about now because like,
that's the danger of the Survivor shows. You see more and more of them every episode.
I feel like I've recalibrated what I think about Soomin. Because I think he would be great in a 4-person group. And I do think he like is really good at balancing and like bringing his own flavor.
But what's the group that's coming? The group that's like, being formed through the show.
I don't want Soomin to have to do ballads because he's so good at like his thing of like that kind of like poppy R&B thing that he does. So now I'm like getting into the like, but what do I want to see? What's this group gonna be? I think it's going to be ballads. I don't think it's only going to be ballads. Like, I think that's why they're having them do
Multiple voices, yeah.
other genres too. But
I also don't know. The people were saying, the berets were saying that currently when they're asking for votes, it said
it's
they're
for benefits.
voting for benefits.
Okay.
But what does that mean?
Who knows?
Does that mean... I think
I'm
your
gonna
theory is right. I think that's going to be the top two, and then the judges pick other...
I'm going to be so honest. I don't really care about the voting. I don't really care who's... I'm going to be really so honest. I do not care about the voting. People get very pressed about it in our comments, and I totally understand. It's just not a thing that I engage with in reality show. The only time I've truly been like, I am voting was Boys Planet.
Because
and
I was trainees,
on that damn app.
Yeah. I think because of the show... I'm gonna say it. I think I want the judges to pick the 4. I think I want.
Yeah, I think
I would.
I've been very fine with their.
I've been aligned with all of their feedback so far, and they are the ones that they have listened to them in person.
Yeah,
they're the ones that I unfortunately just trust the most because they're there.
Right.
So, if people are gonna be mad about that, it's not the show. It's not the show.
Yeah, it just isn't. I don't know. It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
It was annoying in Fantasy, like we talked about it in Fantasy Boys a lot, and it was annoying in Fantasy Boys because it was so unclear what the fuck was happening.
Yes.
And I guess it's unclear here too, but I don't know. For some reason, the show doesn't bother me as much as Fantasy Boys. I mean, there's a million reasons why, but I just feel like it's not a human right to vote on a Korean singing competition show. So I don't really care. I care who's in the group.
Yeah.
But I'm not
worried
about it. Yeah.
I'm not worried because honestly, if you put any of the current 30 in a group right now,
that's the other thing too. And there's nobody that I feel like because also that we haven't gotten like a bunch of like, here's who they are outside of like whatever. Yes. There's not a bunch of like content. It's been so
focused on just the voice.
Just the voices. And the performance. Yes. That I'm like, oh, I know them less personally. Yeah. So it's not like when I was with Haruto where I was like, I know this is my sister.
Yeah, I know him.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think I'm still gonna pick Prayer.
Like I desperately want Hyun in this group because I desperately want Hyun in this group.
Because representation matters.
But also, I want Hyun to like be successful, and I'm not worried. That's the other thing. I just am not worried about any of these people because it's so clear that they're so good.
They have amazing talent.
Yes. Yeah. Whereas like with 99 trainees, you're like they're gonna go back to the dungeons of whatever company they are in.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
How long did it take it? Where is Chen Kwan Ri?
Literally.
How long did we worry about Donghun Hai? Because we were like, he's locked in a basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
I think
probably prayer. But it could have gone either way for me, and I would have been okay. Genuinely,
I would have been really bummed that jeup would go.
I would be very bummed. Truly like, but I would not. It would not have been a situation where I was like, well, it's clear that that's rigor mortis.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The fact that it was 4-3 is so indicative of like it's personal preference.
Yeah,
because they're both like great performances.
Yeah, I agree.
Soomin is crazy, by the way.
Yeah,
that was crazy. Okay, next battle. We have taewoo, Neon, and Sanghyun.
Tennisons.
Sure. So their whole deal. So we'll talk about who they're battling in a second. But their whole deal was taewoo and Sanghyun had done the duet together. They had won, and they added Neon to their group. taewoo and Neon go in and they're like, we should do R&B. We should do something different.
That's our game.
Yeah. And Sanghyun is like, no.
I'm so bad at the guys. Oh God, my R&B sucks.
I'm so bad. The only thing I can sing is ballads. So they like tried to talk it out and like listen to options, and he was just like, it's really just ballads for me. And so they went with it. It's crazy because I feel like that's not democracy in action. Okay.
You want to talk about voting?
You want to talk about super majorities? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they sing a song called Forest, and it is a ballad. It is. It's like got a little bit of like depth into it, but their biggest thing.
I thought the song was pretty.
Yeah. The biggest thing was they're like, you are three such powerful singers singing this very simple song that you could have done, but I think you just didn't go about it the right way. I think it was like I don't think not have been
I
this
don't
song.
think that. I think there were two problems. I don't think they should have added Neon because they already had taewoo.
But that's the thing. If they chose Neon, they should have done a pop R&B song.
Yeah, that's true. Because he was like the way he sang this was a little R&B.
Yeah. Neon was the best in this. I thought if it was a solo.
I don't agree.
Because I think he doesn't.
I think Sunghyun was the best, unfortunately. But I think he's so good at ballads.
He's so good at it, yeah.
And it sounds correct coming out of his mouth. I think they all sounded individually good. The problem
That was the problem.
That was the problem. The problem is that they never sounded like they were together.
Yeah.
And Neon was skrelting. They gave him like the high notes, probably because he has the highest register. Yeah. But Mama... Oh,
I just feel bad because taewoo has not gotten anything from the show, and he has like one of the most unique. That's what you are. The voices in the show, and I'm really bummed because I really wanted to hear more.
I do too.
Genuinely.
Yeah,
but he never had a like beautiful. He sang 3 ballads in a row.
He sang 3 ballads in a row, and every time I was like, I just need him to sing something else
because I think this is not his gig, which is so unfortunate because
I don't like this hair color on him though. I liked the black hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just unfortunate. I feel bad.
It just like it wasn't even that it was like bad. It just was like if it was
it just wasn't right. It wasn't right. And
if they had never sung together that whole song, I probably would have liked it more.
Yeah. I think Songhyun could have if they found a right pop R&B song that had a little ballad in there.
Totally, because we get to one later that is someone who sings something out of his comfort zone and makes it work so well.
Totally.
It was a bummer.
It was a bummer
because Neon is so good.
Neon is really good.
Songhyun is so good. They're all good. So good.
It doesn't fit.
It just was like
it was not a match.
What was I listening to?
Yeah, not a match.
It was giving like I don't know if they in my mind it was giving like 3 performers from 3 different idol groups who like are forced to sing something at like a mama.
It was mama. Yeah, it was like a mama
but like they don't blend because they're not trying to. They don't know each other. Blah blah blah.
They go up against Inhyuk, Haram, our beloved, and Sunyol from Uptension.
Beloved, RJ, our dear friend, our
my
close
peer.
confidant.
You know what I will, girls. You know what I will say about the Build Up Boys.
They're on
Instagram and they have manageable followings.
Yes,
because a lot of them are just like, I'm just a musical actor.
Yeah,
I'm just starting out.
Yes.
So if you post if you
post it, they will come.
If you post it, they will repost.
Yes.
So it was very sweet.
He was on a live and I was like, hi from Chicago, and he was like, I was just there on a transfer. So you weren't there, but okay.
It was very sweet. These 3 they call themselves 3 tofu because they're like soft and they're all wearing
kitties.
They pick Sunyol specifically.
Yes.
Haram and Inhyuk.
We felt like we had not seen enough of.
Yes. Even though he was like good in all of his songs, it just didn't feel like the right fit.
I had seen what he's fully capable of. Yeah.
So they pick a song. They pick a Mamamoo song called Piano Man, and then they were like, "Oh, that's Haram. He's Piano Man."
Yeah, funny.
And they are working on it. They're working on it.
They're 5 days.
They're 5 days in, and
5 days till.
5 days till.
Yeah.
5 days till. There are 5 days left. Mm-hmm. And the producers literally were like, "It's not working.
It's a flop,
mess.
girls.
It's a mess.
We are not putting this on.
We
on
can't
our program.
put this on TV."
Mm-hmm.
What's worse? That's pretty bad.
I would freak out. Well, they didn't say no technically.
They didn't say no. They were
because
like, hey,
Sunyol was pushing for them to just do it.
Yeah, because he was like, let's just do it. Let's just calm it down. Let's take out
Yeah.
all of these things that haven't been working and simplify it.
Yeah.
Because they were doing a lot of riffs. And Haram was very much like, they've heard me sing 2 ballads now. I want them to see me do something different.
But he's so good at it. He's so good at it. And yeah, I'm sure he's great at other things.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
have no doubt in my mind. But he's so good at it.
And they're finally like, okay,
And he
well,
proves it again this time.
know.
He's so good at
their
it.
ultimatum was like, let's either pick a different song, and it'll probably be a ballad because it's something
You can learn
we
quickly.
can learn quickly.
Yeah.
Or we try and simplify this. And Inhyuk and Haram were leaning towards more, let's just pick a different song.
This is democracy in action.
Yeah. And Sunyol that wasn't like the answer he really wanted.
No.
But he was mostly worried about like, it just feels like impossible to work on a new song for the next 5 days.
Yeah. Yeah. To get it to where it needs to be in order to beat the other group to
Because
not
I
go
think
home.
too, because it's not just them. It's also like telling producers how you want the stage to look.
Mm-hmm.
Telling
What are you gonna
stylists what to wear.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's a lot. And I think that you could tell that that's the whole production is what he's pressured on.
Yeah.
But he ends up going with the
Drawing our moments.
change. It's a song called Drawing Our Moments by Taeyeon, which we said, a sister of
Icon
mine.
legend.
The sister of my sister is my sister.
So
We won't explain.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
We won't.
Okay, we won't.
What did you think? What were your thoughts?
It was funny because the judges were like, you guys sound hoarse. Are you okay? And Haram was like, yeah, we're fine. Because he was the only one whose voice was like, fine.
Don't answer.
Don't answer. We're fine. This was fucking beautiful. I mean, it's so
It was
fucking
so good.
I am so
I will say the first verse. So they do. I love.
it's ramped up.
They do the thing in survival shows, reality editing, honestly,
Yeah.
where they show Wendy be like, well, it's interesting because the first verse is more like a spoken song, and then like it's really powerful in verse
So we'll
2.
see how they do this.
Right. And I was like,
oh,
okay,
that's
so
a
that's going to
setup,
be
so that's gonna
clear
be
that's
very
what we need to
clear.
look for.
Yeah.
Giving you the clues, dropping little
yeah,
breadcrumbs.
The beginning of the song is very sparse, and then the second half of the
Soft,
song is
yeah.
like more
Yeah.
of the belting part of it.
I agree that with their critiques that the first
Like first half.
it worked in their favor because it is emotional.
Yes.
So because their voices sounded raw and tired, it added to the emotion, but I could tell it was not purposeful.
It's not
it was
purposeful.
like
It's
my
like,
voice sounds like
my
that
voice
currently.
Is tired.
It just happened to work.
Yeah.
So on that, like, congrats,
Good
you
on
picked
them,
the
'cause they
right song for
yes,
that.
exactly.
Which is
totally.
not even, there's no way they could have known that that's what was going to happen. That was the only thing. I just felt nervous that whole time because I was like, it's so hard to sing. It's weirdly so much easier to sing powerfully when you are hoarse
Yes,
than try
'cause
to
you're
like
just-
tone it and make it really soft.
yeah.
It's so difficult.
Yeah.
When they get into the second verse,
I know.
bitch,
It feels otherworldly.
I can't. This is what I felt like I was waiting for all of the second round. Is I was like, I'm waiting for 3-part harmony.
Yeah.
Enough of this melody and a third above.
Yeah.
I want 3-part harmony. And mama, this one, and then I'll be honest, the Minuk
next
one.
Yeah, I know.
Bitch,
I know.
I was like,
This is it. This is what this group is gonna give me.
the cavemen in the walls with the little tinkling the little
Finding-
rocks together
yes.
and finding the harmony. Bitch! Ooh!
Okay, I'm gonna say in Hyuk's voice, it's just like so beautiful. It's like there's so much depth in his voice. It feels like kind of like Donghun, where it's like if it feels like it's got acoustics in there, but his feels more like it's in his like chest diaphragm
Yes, than
rather
in his
than
head.
Donghun, where it feels like it's like his like soft palate, you know. And so it's just so
Sorry, we're getting really
we're getting so
technical.
technical. It sounds so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Haram, obviously, we've already discussed. He's great. The way he reaches in and out is just so beautiful. Like there's just like true driving But fucking Sunyo,
Bitch,
in this
the
song?
revelation.
Fucking Sunyo.
Bitch. His voice is so naturally high, which is like, okay, sister.
Okay, sister, I see you.
Okay, I know when you go to that drive-thru, they say, yes, ma'am. All the time. It actually doesn't happen as much up here anymore, but like when we lived in Florida, when we lived in the South.
Ma'am. Yeah.
Miss Ma'am. Miss Ma'am. Both.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Drive through phone. But the thing with Sunyo, because he has a naturally high voice, he is so perfectly comfortable singing in that range, which like as someone who also has a naturally high voice, I never sang in my, or like trained in like where I'm speaking right now. I always like was always self-conscious about like my speaking voice isn't my singing voice. I need to sing now. But he is just like, you can't tell when he's speaking or singing. It is just seamless.
It's so
like
good.
He's always singing.
It's so pretty. It's so pretty.
His mix is so solid.
Oh my God. Bitch.
So good. I'm just like, and I was like, finally, like I see the magic.
Hello.
This is it.
There are two performances this episode where I was like, oh, this is the moment.
Found
yes.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a fucking revelation.
I was so... That second verse when they like all... Ooh, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. It's so good.
And the judges agreed.
They said
6-1, half the dozen or the other.
half a dozen or the other. 6 stronger moments, 1 forest.
Yeah.
And they were right for sure. I mean, I definitely think Forrest had more interesting voices that I wish I could have heard more from.
And I think that's what the judges were like.
But like
the
that's
challenge
not
is a team challenge.
It's a team challenge, yeah. It's not that first round where we're judging individual voices. Yeah. It's tough. But what are you gonna do? Next up.
Let's have some fun, Adam.
Let's goof around a little.
Let's goof around. We've got
Yoonsa, Jui, and Yeonu. And they do
the trainees.
The trainees. And they do a song called NAKKA by AKMU. No idea.
Yes, you do. They're so lovely, they so lovely, everything so lovely.
Wait, that is them? I didn't know that they were called AKMU. I just remember the song is called, isn't it Lovely?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do know them. Don't know the song though, for sure.
Don't know the song.
But now that I know Lovely, I was like, oh, this is a similar.
It's a similar vibe.
Yeah.
It's like playful, but like kind of moody.
Rhythmical syllables.
Yes.
Like just repeating things on like a, yeah.
Yeah. Their whole thing is that like, bitch, we're the youngest. We're trainees.
Them and soomin.
Which was the whole thing. Soomin was like, girls, I'm also a maknae. Okay?
I'm also young.
And they were like,
and me too.
Oh, and you too.
Yeah, me too. Because I actually don't use capital letters on when I text. Cool. So that's really like indicative of my age. I turned off auto caps.
Yunso was basically like, this is let's just run with it. Let's just be goofy doofy.
Yeah, let's
choose a concept.
Yeah, because they'd all done ballads up until this point. This is not a ballad. I don't even know what I would really classify this as, to be quite honest.
No. Acapella.
Oh, yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Because there is an acapella portion, but like it's that same vibe. It's more, this feels the most barbershop that they've ever done.
This is, we're verging into, you left your key in a mausoleum.
What? Is that a Veggie Tale?
That is a that is a reference to the Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
When they're trying to talk to the singing busts.
Oh, yeah.
And they just keep responding in songs.
Yes.
And they say, we left the key in the mausoleum, and then they just make up the song.
They just riff off of it, yeah. It's giving
so
Garth
sorry.
and Cat.
Unfortunately, The Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy is not a good film, but I did see it at the right age where every movie's good, so I have really fond memories of it. But it's not a good movie. Genuinely in a positive way, I did think this performance was really fun.
I thought it was really good.
A complete breath of fresh air. Totally different from the rest of every other performance on the show.
And they that's like
they leaned into it.
It's the smart choice.
But also it's goofy, right? The performance is a little goofy, but they back it up by it being good.
And that was the big surprise for everyone.
That's like it would have been such a bummer if they had just done like a goofy performance and they weren't really committed to it, and it was just like, well, it's charming because they were funny, but like that's not what the show is. But they managed to do both, which I will say. The one thing I will say, I am a theater person, and I have expressed multiple times on this channel that I love earnest energy. Mm-hmm. I cannot do a cappella groups. It is a step too far. It is a bridge.
It's too earnest that I'm like,
it's so
life isn't like this.
No, I don't know what it is about it. It makes me want to bring my chin back through the back of my throat.
There is something that's like
that, and also it was a little. And this was more charming in my opinion, but it was a little because I think because I know they're the youngest. Yeah. It was a little like your nephews and nieces do like put a show on. They're like, watch us, and you're like, okay,
yeah. And they're like, hey you guys, we made a show.
And it was like good. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it's a little energy. It's very sweet.
It doesn't help that everyone backstage are like, oh, they're so cute.
I know,
which I think that's just like Mnet. That's just
all the way.
That's idol Mnet
for sure.
I thought
that's why it's funny that Soomin doesn't get that because his energy is so different.
Yeah. No one thinks of him as like a young, like a Mnet. I thought actually that Yoon probably did the best.
I just think Jui's voice is so phenomenal.
Is so solid.
It's so good. Yeah. And him being so young.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 19. He just has like, I have like a similar vibrato when I sing where it's like tight vibrato, but he makes it sound so not forced and effortless. Like it's
so like mix as well.
It's so pretty. Yeah.
I think Geonu still has a way to go. I think with his voice, I think he just needs a little bit more training and practice. But I think Jui and Yoon are kind of like the bigger presence in the song.
Unfortunately, the song itself, while I did like the performance, I was a little like...
It still felt a little safe. Like the song, because it's not a very challenging song.
Yeah, I felt so too. I liked all their like harmonies that they stacked. Harmonies. Yeah, those were really fun.
And I love the like
singing back and forth. That was so fun.
I am also just a person who is like, I think it's funny when people are like, I'm a deadpan girly. I think deadpan is so funny. So just them being like, do, it's
really funny.
It's funny.
And the little like choreographed bits that they do. It was a very fun performance. Yeah. It's not one that I'm ever going to be like, oh, I got to watch that performance again. It's so fun.
But I think they made the smart choice. I think this is the only way to kind of be like, because I think they had a little bit of like a gallows, like, I don't think we're going to win against the other group because they're so strong with who they are. So
there was a chance if it did not...
If the risk didn't pay off.
If the risk had not paid off, it could have swung the other way.
Yeah, totally.
Unfortunately, for their sake, I mean, the other group.
Yeah.
Sohyung knocks it out of the fucking park.
The brats, as I call them. Brats. The bratistas. So Sohyung, Geonu, and Soomin, who call themselves Taco Trio because they ate tacos every
practice. They're not real. These people aren't real.
Soomin and Geonu were just hanging out.
This is what I'm saying.
Soomin like booked this show and he's like, I'm having the fucking time of my life.
They keep wanting Geonu to be cool. That's their constant refrain. It's like, you just got to tone it down and be cool. And it's like, unfortunately, I don't think Geonu is cool.
I think he's having so much fun.
I think he's just very into what he's into and he like expresses it.
Yeah.
What a little freak. All of his little like TTT, like he's weird, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
And I love it.
That's his charm.
That's the charm.
That's the charm. Yeah.
They sing Joker by Big Naughty. Adam gets a kick out of it every time he hears it. He's like, that's just funny.
I cannot take anybody who calls themselves Big Naughty seriously.
All the berets are going to call you Big Naughty from now on. Do it. Do it. Unlimited. Soomin and Geonu literally go into the room and are like, oh God, I hope he's still here. I hope he's still there. Yes, no one got him. Picked him right away. Like their intention was to pick Seohyung.
Do you think they had this song in mind even before that?
Well, I think when they were like talking like who to pick, Geonu and Soomin were like, let's pick someone that may not fit with our vibe. Mm-hmm. And make them
like that's most. I mean,
which is a lot of them.
Yeah,
and make them fit with our vibe. I don't think people. I think they knew that people weren't going to be like racing to get Seohyung, so they took it as an opportunity. And I do believe like Soomin is probably like, which they get complimented with this performance that he's gonna fill a gap that their duo has.
Yeah.
They picked Seohyung and Geonu was like, let's make him rap.
If you want to talk, if you really want to be like, the point of the show is to build up a group.
Soomin is building groups.
That he is doing it very smartly.
Yeah. Singer-songwriters, girl. They know how to build up. They sing Joker. What do you think of Joker, Adam?
I thought, well, first of all, it takes a really long time for Seohyung to start singing.
I know, which is like they're building it up.
And I was like really nervous.
Oh, okay.
That I was like,
I knew right away that they were going to do it on purpose. That I was like,
well, I figured it was on purpose, but I was worried. I didn't know how much of the song there was, so I was like, well, I don't want it to feel like
he was barely in this.
Yeah. So that's what I was nervous about first. Soomin is so good. Honestly, I can't. I don't want it to just be like, well, I'm rooting hometown hero, but like hometown hero, and he's good. Sorry to tell you. And he's
nailed every single song.
And I think he's funny, and I think all of his like bits where he's like,
"We're better than you,"
being being contrarian or whatever.
Yeah,
it's all like clearly a joke.
All clearly in good fun.
Yes,
no one is offended. I think if people were offended by it, we would have seen it because
it would have been way more serious
to paint that picture.
Oh,
anything they smell to get a villain out of anything, they'll do it. And I think there's a reason why we haven't seen that in the show because I think everyone,
honestly, the closest they've come is Sanghyun
and Taewoo.
Yeah,
and they still kind of paint it in a way that I'm sure it probably wasn't that bad, but because it's it started the seed of like he was so adamant in picking the ballad. All that to say, I think Soomin is having a great time in the show, and I think everyone.
And I really like him and Geonu's friendship. It's so cute.
It's so good.
And they do like bring church oppa into the fold. They bring church
oppa into it. They're like, yeah, do something bad. Diss.
We're gonna make you evil.
Yeah, and his diss was like, you babies.
It's so funny.
It's giving Sandy at the end of Grease.
We don't do references.
It's giving like an Australian student who comes into a high school in America
in like
1950s and falls with like a group of girls called the Pink Ladies who are like the ladies to like a bunch of like greasers who
so
are
specific.
Like, yeah, something like that. And then at the end she comes in like full
you can't even call them greasers because that is that term is literally just pulled from Greece. You can't even say greaser. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
That's how anyway.
That's how ubiquitous pop culture is. And why
we are students of it.
Like Bain.
Soomin
fucking eats the song They all do really good in this
I think they
song.
do really well.
Song-
I do think the weakest is probably geonu.
It's very interesting. His voice is so. I didn't realize how like. It's a lot like Sunyeol's voice. It is very high.
It's very high. But interestingly, Soomin does the high or high harmony when they get to that point.
Yeah.
Like in his falsetto.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
He's like a solid tenor. Geonu.
Yes.
And then obviously like Songhyun is like bass bitch. Baritones. And he comes in and it's like literally like he just comes in and goes, "Get a little drunk."
I was like, I don't know. Is this going to work? And then he just does it.
He just does it.
And it's like, I will say it's a like 5% awkward.
Yes.
Like there's a little,
There's
like it's
still
not
because
totally
I
perfect.
think it's hard because he has a baby face.
Totally.
So-
But I think he sounds so good.
Sounds so good. Yeah.
And he has the color that neither of them have.
Exactly.
And so it sounds like when they're all together, it
sounds so complete.
So good.
Exactly.
It's like a full 3-course meal.
Yeah.
Like you're hitting all the quadrants.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with this one.
Yeah, totally.
And it's so nice that I'm able to episode 6 still be
Still be
surprised.
gagged, yeah.
Totally.
I know he did such a great job.
And it's such a risk.
Yeah.
Because they could have like had him join the group and he could have like done the Sunghyun and been like, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do it.
I'd rather do a ballad. And I think they probably could have done a ballad well still, but I just think like it's more interesting to watch because so few people are doing R&B.
Yeah.
That it's so much more interesting to watch someone try to do it and like pull it off than like if they had just like done another ballad. And it's so funny because we started the show being like ballads
Just
are
give me
everything.
ballads. I do think it's also interesting that it's worked well for Soomin. And honestly,
Yes.
for like even Ghana was dropped to low tier, but for Soomin it's worked so well that if Soomin says like, "Hey, I think you can do like this vibe with us."
Soomin has basically done the same energy 3 performances in a row. And I just think like for a lot of other contestants, they would be like, you need to change it up.
Yeah.
But because he's so good at it and
Natural.
so few people are doing it well, that it's like, we'll just
You
keep
look into
doing
it,
it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure probably they will have them do a ballad next or something like that. And that'll be like the true test of like, is he good enough? But
Yeah.
like,
I agree.
I think I said this when we were watching it. I don't think either of them are in the show to win the show.
No, I think they're in the show to. It feels like summer camp to them.
Totally. But I also think that's like a really valid way to be on these shows. I don't think
That's
you
the-
need to go on these shows in order to, and be like, I have to win in order
It's
for
the
it to.
double-edged sword. You want your idols to be like, "This is so serious to me. This is so serious."
Totally.
But then you also want them to be like, they have to have
because
fun. They have to do what they want.
What I want is like, I want them to take the performances seriously, which I think they all do.
They all do.
But I don't need them to be like, this is my make
This
it
is
or
life or
break
death,
it.
yeah.
Like I like that. I really don't think the way Geonu has handled all of the criticism
feedback every single week,
which has
yeah.
been similar every single week and has not adjusted a single thing. I do think he caught himself today
This
when he
time.
did that big one. I think he like felt
Realized
it and
to,
then like tried to reel it
shit,
in.
Yeah.
But I think overall, like, he is not interested in being like, oh, I'm gonna change up how I like perform for this show that I'm clearly not gonna win. Like
There's something there.
yeah.
It's taking things for what they are. And I at the end he does say like I did feel burdened, that like I may have burdened my team because of like my performance, but
Yeah.
he did say like he wants to work on it. So I'm just curious because we made the analogy with like Drag Race, like, you know, John gets told, I need versatility, stop wearing the elf
there's
ears.
one every season.
There's always someone every
Yeah.
season with like a specific look. And you're going to be like, let's see something different. I
Derek
think,
Barry.
yeah. I think now at Drag Race, the girls will like do
Block
one.
your brows.
Yeah.
Does it have me or
They'll always do one look of like, there, I did what you wanted me to do. Here's the versatility.
Yeah.
And then they'll go back because it really is just to prove that, like, to the judges that I can do it. I just choose not to.
It's interesting though. Okay, so like here's the thing. Here's the argument against that though, and like why I think it's always frustrating when they get that critique on Drag Race. Because yes, I understand you want versatility, but you're not like in build up. They have to create a cohesive group that fits between all people. So like you need to be able to handle multiple things in case you go down a path in which you have to do multiple things, right? Because you are not a solo performer.
Yeah.
Drag Race, you're a solo winner. It's you're crowning someone who is like exemplary at what they do, what their take on drag is, right? Yeah. So that's why it's a little like annoying. I mean, it's always really stupid shit too. Like it's never like, oh, like Violet, you wear too much. You're like you're too much of a fashion queen. You got to like be ugly. You know what I mean? Like it's always like really specific. Like Tina Burner wears too much orange and red. Which was true. You know what I mean? Like it's always like very specific. Like why do you do your makeup? It's almost always makeup too. By the way,
which is weird because there's some people who are like, no, this is my signature. Like Anitra has the slash on her eyebrow.
Trixie Mattel.
Trixie has like a signature look.
But they never do it on All Stars. They never do it on All Stars. They only do it on the regular season.
On the regular season, because they're still also trying to figure out like what's your deal too.
Yeah, but I think if someone comes in and they know what their deal is, then that's like cool. They know what their deal is. Yeah.
I
think the critique of like being like, I don't think it should be like we need to see versatility, but I do think it's like we need to see like you. It can't. That's when it starts to run into being like, oh, it's feeling like safe.
Yes,
like you're just like relying
on the thing that you
do well.
The thing with geonu is, I think they just want him to see. They just want to see from him. Can you match the vibe of the rest of the group?
Totally.
Which is that is a that's in the rubric.
100%. I just don't care but I'm fully in the can for Geonu. I know I'm completely biased on Geonu. I think he's such a charming performer.
Yeah,
I think it's so cute that he is so lived, like he's so dropped into the performance that he has to like physically express it. He cannot just
can't
like
help it.
He can, and he's not cool. And I don't know what to tell you.
It's just
Biko, he's not cool. You're cool. Ganu's not cool. You'll never be friends. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
that's how I feel.
Also, not disparaging Geonu is not cool. Okay, girls.
No, I just think like that's
his charm.
That is the charm. That's the thing about like, this is why like it's good to have like you need variety, choices. Because because then you get like, if everyone was like cool like Baeko, then it's like, okay. Not that it would be bad, but
it homogenizes the industry.
Yeah.
If you're a person who's like, I want my idol to also have like rough on the edges, like I can feel that they're also someone that I could know as a real person.
Mm-hmm. No industry understands differences, like variety is so important than K-pop.
Yeah.
Because like that's why you have like 13 member groups and everyone is like does a little bit of a different thing, has a bit of a different personality, because like it's so people can latch on to like different aspects of each individual member's charms.
Yeah.
And there's not just one singular way to be charming.
They win 6-1.
They win 6-1. I think that's right.
I think that's right.
Yeah. I think if it had gone bad,
it would be more
I think
contested.
It would be more I think it would be a 3-4 split.
Yeah.
But I think Seohyung just going for it and pretty much
very
nailing
admirable.
It. Yeah. And like it just like shows that they're not afraid to like he's not afraid to try something new. And we don't know the order of the performances on the day of, but I do think it's interesting if this did come after Sunghyun had been like, oh, I can't do anything other than a ballad, because it's like
you should have tried.
Impressive that you stood up to the challenge and like won it. Yeah.
Which is the point of the show.
Okay, we go to our last one.
We get
half.
we get half of this. We get cliffhung.
Yeah.
But it is the Jae, Hayun, Wumuti versus Inte, Minok, and Ung from
Jeonu
Geonu. Which
from AB6.
this is what he looks like, by the way. The Braves were quick to show us this men's health spread. And I was spread. So they do Inte, Minok, and Ung first. And the whole story is that, like,
You're sick.
obviously, this is the first place team and ninth place team. And Wumuti, Jae, and Hayun specifically picked them because they were like, well, let's make our biggest competitions go against each other, which is Jeup's team and Bain's team.
Yeah. They would have gone against whoever
Yeah.
Bain was against.
Because it's sudden death.
Yeah.
So
And because they could only move one.
they can only
thing.
move one. They can only put themselves in one.
Yeah.
So I think it was more opportunistic than anything. I really don't think they were like, let's just go for the ninth place.
Yeah.
Because I think they could have gone for the
But
trainees.
I also understand
They could
why
have
it would
gone-
feel.
yeah,
to them,
absolutely. Since the ninth place team this was like their third time being matched.
Yeah.
And Ung was like, well, I feel I'm burdening Inte and Minok because they were left with me as the only choice.
They chose him over Gwangsak. So they did choose him.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They sing a song called Enough. And Ung's big thing is like, Mama, I've never had to 3-part. Are you kidding me, girl?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And this was me when I like had to do my first like harmony in a duet after like what show was it?
Because you always said melody.
Well, I just feel like as a tenor, I was in melody, and then I had to do harmony when I sang with a girl. Who did I sing with? It must have been Ari for something. Singing "As Long as You're Mine" from Wicked. Yeah.
So Ung was basically like, I'm in a shitty place right now. And it was very sweet because Inte was basically like, we will help. Like,
We're gonna.
this is why we're here. We will help you.
You're not by yourself.
You're not by yourself. And they basically like teach him the harmony, like over and over again.
Drill it.
And this like fully becomes like the coming out of Jeonu. Like, this is his debut. Like, this is his like the only thing I feel type of way with is that like I need Minok to have like a leading story.
I know.
And I just don't think we're gonna get one.
I don't think we're gonna get one
unfortunately.
either.
But this is the next best thing
Yeah.
because they fucking eat this song up. This was the one where I cried. Out of all
I cried.
out of the songs. This is the one that I cried. I'm gonna start with Inte's voice because like it was like I was refreshed that like, oh, this is what Inte sounds like. And it's so good. I feel like when I'm a broken record, I'm just gonna tell people that like these voices sound so good.
I know.
Minok sounds so solid, sounds so like strong. And then Ung just like flies out of there.
Yeah.
Like literally wings are finally spread.
Yes.
And this whole thing was like, we don't sing ballads.
We don't sing ballads. I've never sung harmony, and I felt like the other two songs I've picked were because I was trying. I am so upbeat that I was trying to like emulate that energy.
Yeah. I didn't want to like disappoint people and be like, well, that's not the Ung we know.
Right.
But like that's the whole
I know. That's the most exciting part is like finding the different sides of you.
Colors.
Yeah, totally.
Which I think the people that are doing well know that that's what the show is for, and they can do that. That's why I think and I'm so happy that Ung is now part of that. Which I'm curious, like, is that part of the whole idol thing? You know, because you're so concerned about like.
I mean, it's interesting because I think they differentiate like colors and like concepts.
Yes.
They're always interested in showing other concepts, but yeah, once you get into a rut and you do it well, you don't want to necessarily like take risks if you feel like it works, blah, blah, blah. But that's also like
That's just an everything. That's
risk
just
aversion is like more of like
It's a natural
monetary thing too.
Totally.
Of being like, well, we don't want to take our fans too far out of their comfort zone.
But I'm glad that in this experience, he's like, this is
why
different.
every Teddy song sounds the same.
That's why the girls are on their own companies. That's why the girls are on CEOs.
And that's why the girls are on their own companies. Because they said...
It really sounds like a release. It feels so cathartic. You could tell that Woong is like, he just feels so like proud that he like, oh,
the narrative was narrativing.
It was perfectly written.
So good. I was like a little annoyed that I felt like, again, like we weren't getting anything from Mnet or Inte, because I do want to know more about them per se. But like once I saw the performance, I was like, oh, well, it's because it's you got it. If you have it, just go with it. But I also
genuinely think that I think Inte and Mnet were also like, let's make the decision to make you the star of this.
Yeah, they put him in the middle. I mean, he starts the song, he ends the song. He does such a good performance. These harmonies are so...
The harmonies, he goes for the lowest. Mm-hmm. Which is so... The whole... that's like, you are showing all of your skills.
Mm-hmm. They were so blended.
They sounded like the most blended team.
I mean, there were points at which it sounded like one voice.
Yeah.
Like it was so symbiotic that I was like overwhelmed at how like well layered, well stacked, like perfectly toned, attuned to each other. Like
they're listening. The entire time
Inte and Ung have that moment like where they smiled at each other because they knew it was hitting. Oh my god, it was
you
so
could tell
good.
They're listening to each other because like Mnet, there were moments where he was like adjusting where his mic was at.
Yes.
Like it was
such a professional performance of like a bunch of singers. Like I that sounds so mundane to explain it that way, but it's so...
But I think you could tell that Ung was so proud and happy that he's like, this is me. I am a professional singer.
Yes. Yeah, it's very sweet. You are that too.
Yeah.
You are not just Ung AB6 and that's all you are. You have not lost your self-identity. You have not lost your artistry.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very sweet. It's such a good performance. And the song is so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cried.
And then we'll find out if they get out.
And then we'll see. Maybe Hyun will fuck it up next week. We don't know.
Hyun just like just gross.
Just fully like...
He's like, well...
Carlotta and Phantom.
Yeah.
We don't do references.